Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's video, I just wanted to do, I wanted to go over our birth story, and I wanted to introduce you guys to Miss Isabella. Look at her, guys. My baby. Hey, mama. Hi. She's like wide awake. She's usually not this awake, so it's kind of... Look at her, guys. She is so tiny and so beautiful. I love smelling her. She smells so good. So, it all started on Tuesday. Let me get the dates for you guys. So it all started Tuesday, April 12th. Because technically I'm supposed to still be pregnant with her. Today she would be 36 weeks and 2 days. That would have been her today. April 12th would have been, well, because she came at 34 weeks, and y'all, I can't even think right now. She was 34 weeks and 5 days when she was born. So April 12th, she was 34 weeks and 2 days. If my math is correct, she was 34 weeks and something. So I had went to my OB appointment on April 12th, and it was a non-stress test. It was my first non-stress test with her, and she failed it. And then she was non-reactive, so they gave me a cookie and some water, and then after a little bit she started to do, you know, what they wanted her to do. So they considered it a pass, and they said come back Friday. And I actually was not going to go to my appointment Friday because I had so many appointments that week. I was so tired, and I was still working. And I was just telling Aaron, like, look, I really don't feel like I can do this. Like, I'm just really tired. So he was like, you know what? You need to go to your appointment. So I'm going to call off work. Oh, he can, you know, take care of the kids while I go to my appointment. So he called off work, and I was like, all right, you know what? I'm going to just go get this over with. So I went to the appointment, and she failed the non-stress test again. And they couldn't get her to react. So they were like, you know, you need to go to the hospital for further evaluation. It's probably nothing. They're just going to monitor you longer at the hospital. So we went to the hospital. Well, I did. I went to the hospital. Baby, mommy talking too loud. She reminds me of a little fish. Like, her mouth opens up like this when she's ready to eat. I went to the hospital. I got there. They, you know, put me on the monitors. And after a while, I think it was like after about 30 minutes, she wasn't reacting still. So they came in with this little vibrator thing, and it just they put on your stomach and it vibrates, and the baby's heart rate is supposed to react, and it didn't. We tried giving me some water, we tried the ice, we tried different positions, we tried everything, and nothing was working. So they were like, we're going to admit you overnight just to keep track of things, you know, with your history and everything. We don't want to risk it. So I was like, okay. At that point, we were trying to figure out, you know, if I did go into labor, where would their kids go? So we were trying to figure that out. My sister ended up getting the kids, and Aaron ended up coming to the hospital with me. And everything was looking, I mean, she was still just barely passing everything. They did a ultrasound test. It's like a 30-minute ultrasound test. I forget what it's called, but it's like an 8 is a pass. It goes by like 2, 4, 6, 8, and they test her movements, the fluid, her breathing, and something else. I think just like measurements and stuff. And she had got a 6 on Friday. so that wasn't a passing. That's kind of like inconclusive type of thing. So they were like, we're gonna just repeat this in the morning. So, bless you. So Friday night, same thing. I ended up getting a CAT scan, because my breathing was like, I just felt like I couldn't breathe. And with my history of blood clots in the PE, they wanted to just rule that out. We found a couple other things going on, but the baby, you know, it wasn't like anything baby related. So there was no PE. So that was good. And then I ended up getting an echocardiogram of my heart, and my heart looked good. So they were like, okay, we'll just wait in the morning and do the ultrasound test and see how that goes, and we'll go from there. So Saturday morning came, and they did the ultrasound, and she got an 8. She passed. She did an 8 is like the highest that you can get, I believe. So she had got an 8, and they were like, okay, we're gonna monitor for a little bit. And then she was doing great, like everything. She was reactive, all that. Everything was going how it's supposed to. So they were thinking about discharging me that day. And then a couple hours passed. Aaron had came back to the hospital, and we were chilling, and I was, you know, like, okay, well, everything's going good. I'm probably going home today. So I asked him if he can go to the cafeteria and give me some snacks. And he had left to go to the cafeteria. And I'm just laying in bed, and all of a sudden I hear the monitors like go really slow. Like her heart rate was slow, and I'm looking at the monitors, and I'm like pushing it down. Maybe, you know, like what if she's moving or something. And her heart rate was dropping down to the 50s, and I started freaking out. I pushed the nurse button, but by then, like 10 nurses, doctors, they all came running in the room. They had the ultrasound on me. They was flipping me all over the place. And then they told me to get on my hands and knees, and I did that, and I'm on my hands and knees, buck naked. And it's like all these doctors and nurses in the room. They was taking all my stuff off. They was cutting stuff off, and it was just so crazy. I started crying. I'm like, is she okay? Like, is she still alive? Is she good? And they were, you know, reassuring me and everything, but her heart rate started picking back up. It dropped for like 3 minutes. It was so scary, y'all. After her heart rate came back up, she recovered pretty good, and they were like, okay, you know, everything's looking good now. Go ahead and get comfortable. So I laid back down on my side, and I was having contractions, but they weren't like really strong or anything. They was just coming and going. And they was like, okay, go ahead and lay on your back, because you know, sometimes it depends on how you're laying is why you're having contractions. So I got on my back, and her heart rate dropped again. Well, let me backtrack. So when her heart rate came back up, there were still like all the doctors in the room, and then Aaron had came back with the bag of snacks, and he was like so confused, like, what is going on? Why is everybody in here? And they had sat him down and was telling him, you know, everything that was going on. I had thought my water broke, but apparently it did not. I think I just was peeing myself when I was on my hands and knees. I was like, I think my water broke, and they were like, look, you know, they had to check that. So another like 30-40 minutes had passed, and her heart rate was doing good. So with the contractions, they had told me go ahead and get on my back and see if that helps. I got on my back, and her heart rate had dropped again, but Aaron had just left. He left to go home. No, he left it. Where did he leave to? It was like every time he left the room is when that happened. Like her heart rate would drop. So he had left. I think he was going home, because they were like, you know, we're gonna keep her for another night since that happened. But, you know, we don't think we're not gonna do a C-section just yet. So you got time. Plus I had gotten my blood thinners that morning, so they were really trying not to do the C-section. So yeah, he had left. I got on my back, and not even a minute later, it was like a couple seconds later, her heart rate started dropping again. And they put me on my side, they put me on my other side, and then the hands and knees one again, and her heart rate came back up. And that time it lasted for like a good 4 minutes. Like it was so scary, y'all. Like just going through that, not knowing what's going on. it was horrible. So that happened, and then they were like, okay, we're gonna get the doctor here. The doctor that was supposed to be doing my C-section, she wasn't there. She was just on call, so she was at home. And they were like, it's gonna take her a good like 40-some minutes to get here, so hopefully everything's good in between time. But we're not thinking about doing the C-section because she's only 34 weeks, and we're trying to avoid just the NICU and all that. So I had got the steroid shot the day before on Friday, and I had got my second dose. So they were like, we want it to be at least 12 hours after your last dose, just so she can get all the benefits. And then her heart rate had dropped again. When he came back to the hospital around like 5, 6, whatever, a couple hours passed and she was good. Everything was good, and they were like, okay, I think we're out of that. Maybe she was on her cord or something, I don't know. And then he left to go home for the night, and as soon as he got home, it happened again. Like, I called him and he had just got home. He was like, oh my goodness, like, are you like, what is going on? So he had to come back up to the hospital, and they were like, at this point you might as well just stay. The doctor had made a decision, since her heart rate had dropped a good 4 times, and it's just getting longer and longer each time. Like, it started out doing like 2 minutes, and then 3 minutes, and then it was like well over 4 minutes by the time the last one happened. And at that point I was scared to move. I was just like, I'm gonna just sit on my hands and knees. But that got uncomfortable real quick. So they were like, okay, we're gonna go ahead and do the C-section. They went through everything with me. I signed the paper, the consent form to get my tubes tied, signed all the paperwork. They told me that since I had got my blood thinners that morning, they're not going to be able to do a spinal, so they're going to have to put me to sleep. And at that point, I was just like, do whatever you have to do. Just make sure me and Isabella are alive at the end. And that's all that I want right now at this point. I don't even care how you guys got to do it. I was sad because this is her last baby, and I'm gonna be put to sleep for it, so I won't be able to experience hearing her cries and getting the pictures, and Aaron won't be allowed in the room. So there was that. But we had talked to the NICU, and they just told us how everything works. So around 11 o'clock, they prepared me for the C-section, and I went down. And they told me that they were not going to start anything until after I was asleep. So they had prepared everything. They cleaned my skin. They did everything. And I was just laying there all by myself. Well, I had the nurses and stuff around me, but Aaron wasn't allowed to be in there, and I was just scared. And I'm just laying there like, oh my goodness, like, I'm really about to do this again. Like, it was hard, like. But yeah, so they put me to sleep, and they did the C-section, and they kept their promise. They did not start anything until they did the C-section, because my first emergency C-section didn't go like that. So yeah, her foot keeps popping out. Your foot is popping out. Your foot's gonna be cold. They did the C-section, and I had woke up in recovery, and I was in a lot of pain. I had like 12 blankets stacked up on my stomach just to hold the pressure, and I just remember waking up crying, and Aaron had walked in the room, and they gave me some pain medicine, and everything was just a blur. And then when I finally was up enough, they were like, okay, you guys, we can go take you to see Isabella. Aaron had went up to the NICU. Oh, he had went up to the NICU with her when she was first born, so he got a couple pictures of her. Not a lot, y'all. The picture they got, I was mad. Like, bro, this is what y'all gave me? This the only picture I got? But yeah. I was so upset. Like, I was looking at, I didn't want to look at the pictures until after I seen her, because I just, I wanted to see her first, like, for myself. But when I did see the pictures, I was like highly upset. Like, wow, y'all could have did better than this. I could have did better than that, and I was asleep. But anyways, So, bless you. They had took me up to the NICU to see her. They wheeled me in my bed. And not even 10 minutes into seeing her, I started hemorrhaging. So they had to cut that short. And I think I got like 2 pictures or like a short video with her. And I started crying. I was just like, she's just so beautiful. Like, look at her. Just all her black hair and just so beautiful. Just so tiny. I love you. But yeah, so I started hemorrhaging. So they had to cut. Oh, I know. She eats, she's still on her NICU schedule. Sometimes 30 minutes early, but 3, 6, 9, 12 is her care times. Day and night. Oh, baby, but it's 2:36, so. They had to take me back downstairs. And I honestly don't remember how they stopped the hemorrhaging that time. Like, I was so out of it. I really don't remember. I think they did Pitocin. I think that's what they did, the Pitocin, to just help my uterus contract. And then everything got stabilized. Everything was good. The night came to an end. It was about 3 o'clock in the morning. Aaron was tired. I was like, you know, go ahead and go home, get you some sleep, come back tomorrow. So he had left, went home. And then, you know, through the night, I hemorrhaged again. That time I do remember. They stood me up to to walk to the bathroom and back. And I still had my catheter in and everything, but they just wanted to get me up. So as soon as I stood up, you know, I started to hemorrhage. And that time they did a double Pitocin. Like, it was extra strong Pitocin, and they did some other things that I don't want to get into because it was just a little bit much. I don't really want to get into that right now. I guess I can do a story time on that for you guys when I'm ready, but that was very like traumatizing what they had to do. And it's very graphic, so I will maybe do a story time on that later. But yeah, after they got hemorrhaging under control, everything else went pretty smoothly. After hemorrhaging, you know, my hemoglobin was low, so they had to give me iron and all that. And I am still on iron now, but I'm doing a lot better. Healing has been a whole lot better. This is week number 2 for me. Saturday was 1 week, and it is Wednesday. She's ready to eat, so I gotta go ahead and feed her. But yeah, that is my labor and delivery story time. I'm so glad it happened the way it did, because if we were home and I never went to that appointment, only God knows where we would have been. It could have been it just could have went a whole nother way. So I'm thankful. We are blessed. Mama's is hungry, so we're gonna go ahead and feed her. I am breastfeeding her, so yeah, guys, I will see you guys in my next video. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys enjoy. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to this channel. And stay tuned for more videos from Miss Isabella. Bye. Here goes Miss Isabella. Look at her. Look at her little feet. Say hi, guys. Hi, YouTube. Don't forget to subscribe. Okay.